You know, it's such an honor to serve here because every single Sunday I'm going to get a message from this man that I can take into the week, and it's going to serve me through my week. So you're as fortunate as I am. Because right now I want to introduce our spiritual leader, the Reverend Dr. Ken Wilcox.
Thank you, Eddie. Eddie Watkins Jr., everybody. Good morning, everyone. Isn't it great coming to a place where we can co-create the very best for ourselves? The most love, the most joy, the health and prosperity. Every great thing in life we're seeking is seeking us. The good you're looking for is looking for you. And this wonderful place is a great place to realize that good, to draw that good in. So know you're in a wonderful place this morning, and Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. Well, we always have first-time visitors with us each Sunday. If you're here for the first time, we have a gift bag outside for you. And in that gift bag is a little card for you to, oh, hello, little one, for you to fill out to give us your email. Now, you fill out that card and give us your email, you get a free book from me. What's the book we give them? No, not Creative Thought. It's the one that I wrote. It's better than Creative Thought. Oh my goodness, this book, you're going to love this book. They can barely keep this book printed. There's so much demand for it. So fill that card out and give it to our greeters up front, and they'll give you a free book. Come next week and we'll give you another book. I mean, what a great deal. You can't argue with that. All right, so we are collecting school supplies. Here's a list of the supplies that we need for kids who are in need here in our area. Buy the school supplies, put them in a prominent area of your house, and then do prayer work over them. Say prayers for them. See those kids getting the blessings they need. See those kids getting the love and support they need. And then bring that gift here. We'll collect them, and then we'll get them to the kids who need. There are so many kids who are in need in our city. You know, we feel like we live in a prosperous area, and we do, but there's a lot of underserved kids. Diana tells me that these bags that we give our kids, that sometimes those are the only new things those kids get all year long. So do these bags, say prayers over them, bring them to us, and it's going to bless you. Those blessings will come back to you. So know you're doing a wonderful and good thing. All right, those are my announcements, and I just want you to always encourage you to do one simple thing each Sunday morning. And that is to leave all your troubles, your fears, your would-haves, your could-haves, to leave all that stuff outside. And for the next 45 minutes or so, to open up an avenue of spirit possibilities. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more joy, more happiness, all those things in life that make us feel alive. Because that's what God is doing through you. It's what Spirit is doing through me. Showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love, our joy, and our laughter. So know you're in a great place this morning, and you're going to leave here in some significant way, healed, blessed, and prosper. All right, Eddie, can you bring us some great blessing with your music?
I think it's time for us to come together in the name of love. How do you feel about that, y'all? Well, if you're able, I invite you to stand and clap your hands right here. There you go. I think you're feeling it. Okay, this is what I want you to do. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together, we come together, in the name of love, we come together. Come on, y'all. We come together, we come together, in the name of love. Okay, y'all got it. Now you got to put your back into it. Here we go. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Ooh, take a look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together in the name of love. Oh, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. Oh, we come together. In the name of love. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Eddie. And indeed, that's exactly what we're doing. We're coming together in the name of love. We're coming together to know something better for ourselves. And so a way to do that is to drink in this high vibration that you feel around you, this feeling of love, drink it into the very core of your being, and then project it out through affirmative prayer. And to help us, guide us through that process, I'm going to have one of our practitioners up, Richard Austin, come up and lead us in an affirmative prayer. Come on up, Richard.
Reverend Ken. Good morning, everyone. I just have to say that when you hear that clap that's not with the rest of you, that's me. So I decided I'd just play the drums on the chair in front of me after I recognized that's where my my clap is. But know this truth with me now, that each of us represents divine spirit. And each of us is connected with divine spirit. And divine spirit is everywhere present. Is everywhere we can imagine and beyond. We know that as we come into this place and take this quiet moment now, that we recognize and honor the clap in all of us, that divine spirit that brings us joy and brings us energy and connects us with our inner spirit and connects us with the divine universal intelligence. Whatever we call it, whether it's God or divine mind, we can call it it. It serves us. It connects us. It brings us together in unison. We feel this connection each and every moment. We do so now consciously and unconsciously. For we know this divine spirit guides us and brings us our greater good. That if we listen, we know that it continues to guide us in our divine quest, our divine walk of faith. We know that through this action, that we are connected to each other and to our world. We honor it, we give thanks for it, and we let out a deep breath and a big clap, knowing that this is so by saying together, and so it is.
Thank you, Richard.
Oh, that feels so good, doesn't it? Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful. You know, it reminds me of a song. Actually, it reminds me of a time. Who here knows where Athens, Georgia is? That's where my family's from. And my Grandma Frankie Mae Watkins, I went to visit her every summer because I grew up in Detroit, and I visited Athens, Georgia every summer. And we didn't have water on the knob. We had a well. We didn't have gas. We had wood that we put in the stove, right? And we didn't have cars. We had a bus, a church bus that came around and picked up everybody. So it could take 2 hours to get to church because it was farms and there were houses and there were all sorts of things and places that we all had to go. So we knew where everybody lived. And when we got to the church, there were no instruments that had all of the strings or keys. But there was such joy and such celebration. And that's one thing I'd like to bring into our worship here is that joy and celebration and gratitude just for being together. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, my grandmother, she taught me something that I never will forget. And I wrote a song and I dedicated it to my grandmother. And the song is called All Is Well. Because these weren't wealthy people, but they found a way to be happy and joyous. And the way she clapped was like this. Okay, be proud of yourselves because she could do this for an hour. So this song is dedicated to Grandma Frankie Mae Watkins, and it goes like this. I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday, mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours and is mine. I am blessed and so are you. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? Let me hear you say, all is well, all is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. All is well, all is well, all is well, and unfolding as it should. I am cloaked in the Spirit. I am fed by the divine. I am one with all that is. My soul is free from time. I am blessed and so are you. And don't it feel good to know? Don't it feel good just to know that the soul is free from time, and all I got to do is change my mind. I'm free, y'all. Don't it feel good? All is well and unfolding as it should. All is well. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. All is well. I am blessed and so are you. I'm blessed and so are you. Isn't that a wonderful realization and a wonderful a way to go out and to deal with the world and position yourself out in the world? We are blessed and the world is blessed, and we are a blessing to be in the world, showing bringing the love and hope of God to the world. So I'm continuing to go through the Science of Mind textbook. I'm doing that this year. I'm up to chapter 21. And this chapter is entitled Some Phases of the Subjective Life. Practically rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? The talk just practically wrote itself. I mean, I really almost had to do nothing with it. It just kind of just fell out. I think this chapter is the junk drawer of the textbook. It was the place, that they just stuck things they didn't quite know what to do with, thought they could use at some point later, and they just threw it in this chapter. They claim that the textbook that we use here, the Science of Mind textbooks, they say it was edited. I want to see the receipt. I want to see where that actually happened, because it sometimes at places it doesn't really read like it was edited well, but they say so. So I'm going to take them on their word. Now, even though it can be kind of difficult to get through at times, there are just huge amounts of wisdom in this book. And so with this chapter, he talks about some concepts that are really very important. The first one that he's talking about is subjective mind. And that kind of makes sense to me from my old psychology in college, the subconscious. Or as Jung called it, the collective unconsciousness. It's where we connect with universal wisdom, our subjective thinking. That's where this is our way we connect with universal mind. It's where our thoughts and feelings go so that the universe can outpicture them as our life. It's the seat of our memory, and it records everything that happens to us. So in your subconscious mind is a record of everything, every single thing that happens to you. And you can recall that. This was proven to me way before I was teaching, when I was still in college. I worked my way through working nights at a locked psychiatric ward. Yeah, I had to bring my W-2 form for my parent or for my family to realize that I actually was working there, and didn't have a admission slip. But I worked there, and the people who come in at nights on a psychiatric ward who get checked in are in difficult situations. And I remember this one woman. She was a retired school teacher. And I'm not sure exactly what she was going through, but she was not totally conscious, but not asleep. And what she was doing, we would have watches, and I had to be on the watch for her. She was she'd been a teacher, and she was taking attendance. She was back in her classroom, and she was taking attendance. She was going through the roles that she had of those classes that she had taught years before. And she was reading off those names just like she was reading off an attendance book. Now, if you asked her, can you do that? I'm sure she would have said, no, that's impossible. I don't remember all those kids. But they were in her subjective mind. They were in her subconsciousness. They were stored there. And Dr. Holmes says that all memories of all the human race, of all creation, are stored there. It's very similar to the Akashic records that others have talked about. And he's very particular that they're stored there as images. He says it's almost like a picture gallery. So I wonder if he'd had some kind of revelation about it. Now, I don't know about that, but I do think it's interesting that he talked about how the images are important, that the images contain our past, because if images contain our past, then perhaps they're very powerful in forming our future. And so it would be smart for us to pull together a really powerful, good image for ourselves of what we want to have and experience in the future, and do it for ourselves and our family and friends, and do it for our nation, our community, and the world. Do it for the people you love and ones you don't like so much, and do it for people you don't even know. There's a young kid on my block, and he practices baseball 2 and 3 hours a day. Every day, he's out there with his basketball, practicing the basketball. It drives one of my neighbors crazy. She's like, oh my gosh, I got to listen to him out there dribbling. I love his dedication. I love his dedication. And I see him, who knows if he's going to get professional sports or not, but that dedication is going to take him somewhere great and someone wonderful. And I just love the fact that he has something in his life that is a comfort to him, that he enjoys, And so when I hear him out there, I'm saying yes for it. If he has it, I can have it. I can bring it in my life, and it's going to do good for him. Now, in the subjective mind is every memory, and we can draw from that. We can draw from that wisdom what we, Dr. Holmes said, are sympathetic to. In other words, what is our level of vibration? If you have a vibration of success, you're going to draw information in it's going to help your success. If you have a vibration of lack and limitation, you're going to draw things to you to help support your lack and limitation. I have known people who were miracle workers at producing a really crappy life. They did things that were like, how did you do that? And I've known other people who went from one success after another. They were pulling from that consciousness, universal mind, the wisdom that they needed to support the conclusions they had made for themselves. Now, Dr. Holmes, when he was the minister, he had a big, huge church in Hollywood. He had, during his day, he had some of the biggest stars of Hollywood as part of his congregation. He married Judy Garland, one of her weddings. Mickey Rooney was an usher at his church. And so he said, he knew actors. And he said that actors had an ability to draw this energy from subjective mind into their lives, and that's how they were able to play different characters. But he also warned that also caused them to kind of be a little bit unbalanced. And if you've ever been around actors, or unfortunately ever dated one, you can kind of know that have that experience. It's like, and you've seen it throughout history, Heath Ledger, brilliant actor. He made the movie Joker, and they said he couldn't divorce himself from that negativity. There's a nasty little movie that Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor did, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? It is a wicked, nasty little movie. And they said after they did those roles, they became those characters. And they continued treating, themselves, each other in that way. And they couldn't move away from it. So Dr. Holmes says the biggest thing to realize is do not give up your individuality to no one or no thing. And he said, even if you could bring in great wisdom by, channeling some outside entity, he said, even if it was great wisdom, it does not serve you well. Keep your individuality. Keep all the little weirdness about you. God needs you to be weird. It needs you to have all the little nooks and crannies of your personality, because through those, Spirit is going to bring about a new heaven and new earth. Even those parts that we're not so proud of, Spirit is going to uplift. So don't give your individuality away to anyone. Spirit needs it. Neville Goddard said, stir up the gift within. He says, stop begging and claim yourself to be that which decides what's true for you. And he said, do this and you will jump from your crippled world and you will walk into the land of the free. Know that you are necessary to the unfoldment of creation, and that through you, Spirit is showing up in ways that is needed and necessary. Cosmic energy flows into our thinking and creates what Dr. Holmes called around us a mental atmosphere. He says our thinking, our thoughts, our emotions, it creates this atmosphere around us. Some people would say maybe it's an aura, but it's an energy generated by our thinking. And we've all met some people that we just love to be around. Well, they have a mental atmosphere of love. And we've met other people that we can't get away from soon enough. I've known people, one single person could destroy a whole party. People having a great time. One person shows up, it's over with. Yeah. It's like, you remember the movie Pee Wee Herman was in? You know, he gets on the train with the hobo, and the hobo is singing. And at first it seems like a lot of fun. But then after like 30 minutes or so, he can't stand it anymore, and he just throws himself off a train. Well, I've known people that I thought about doing a tuck and roll maneuver out of a car to get away from them. And they're just people like that. So this atmosphere is created by our thinking, what we accept for ourselves, what we believe about ourselves. We don't get what we want. We don't get what we wish for. We get what we believe is true about ourselves. We get what we identify with. Now, he has another concept he calls race consciousness. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with racial identity. It's race consciousness as far as like the human race. What are the ideas that we have accepted that are true for us collectively? And some of this is you get from the news media, family. It's basically what they say about life. They say there are no good ones out there. They say terrible time to open up a new business. They say after 60, your body falls apart. That's race consciousness. And we have to know that for ourselves, that doesn't have to be the truth. Doesn't have to be the truth. And you get a lot of it from your family. I've heard people say, well, you hear this all the time. Cancer runs in our family. My teacher, Kennedy Schultz, said, well, open the back door and let it run out. Just let it go on. You don't have to hold on to it. Don't claim it and don't identify with it. Because if you identify with it, it's yours. You've empowered it. If you identify with it, it's going to create energy, and it's going to draw that thing to you. Lo, the thing I feared the most is now upon me. Oh yeah, you birthed it. You pulled it into your life. Dr. Holmes says there's a tendency for us to recreate our own experiences, to keep recreating them until we learn better. I had an amazing thing that happened in my life. My mom was quite the character. And then when I went off into the world, I found a boss. He was a Jewish guy from New York, and I worked for him for 15 years. He was the exact person of my mom. He was two peas in a pod. They were totally alike in temperament, mentality. They were both very, very smart, very intelligent, very cynical. Now, how did that happen? He was raised in the Depression in a small little Jewish neighborhood in New York. She was raised during the Depression in a cotton mill camp in South Georgia. How did I manage to, of all the people in the world, how did I manage to find those two? It was a miracle. It was a miracle. But it was a miracle of my negative energy that I can, when I learned better, could attract something more wonderful. My partner, my friends, this community. I attracted it from that same energy. I learned something better. The energy that we have is always either drawing something to us or repelling something from us. Dr. Holmes says, your outer words, what you say to people, may be able to deceive, but your inner thought is going to prove true. What you're really thinking is going to show up as your experience, and it's going to prove true. What we think to be true for ourselves is always showing up. But of course, we're always given the opportunity to decide. What is it that I'm going to identify with? What will I let just slide by, and what will I identify with? This past week, I had two experiences. One was on Monday morning, I realized that we could make a nice donation to the Betty Griffin House. The Betty Griffin House helps create shelters for people fleeing violence. And we've been making donations in honor of our former minister, Reverend Elizabeth Clare. And when Claire Beaumont made her transition, a lot of people donated to that fund. So we wanted to make a donation to that group. So I was calling them up. And so out of that fund, we also do two things. We donate to them who help people in emergency, but we want to do a little bit more. We want to help people who have out of the emergency stage of it, but are then moving on to get their lives reorganized. Because unfortunately, the Betty Griffith doesn't do that. And we would like to help them out. So I was sharing that information with them, and I said, do y'all know people? Can you help me out? Can you get me some names of people? And they said, well, let me let you talk to Miss Betty. So they hooked me up with Miss Betty, and I've never met this woman, but we became immediate friends. I mean, we loved each other. We were one step away from sharing potato salad recipes. Now, if you're not from the South, you don't know the depth of meaning of that, but we were bonded. So she gave me the information, and I was so grateful for her. I just loved her, and we've made some more contact. So that's a wonderful experience. Same day, Monday, mail comes in. What do I have in the mail? Well, a letter from my friends at the IRS. I'm always happy to hear from them. Yes. They could send me a postcard. I'd be just as happy with that. But no, they had sent me a letter that something had gone wrong with my filing. There had been a mistake. And so I thought, well, this is okay. I'll get it to the CPA who does my taxes, because my taxes are a little complicated being a minister. And I've used this guy. He's quite expensive, but I've always used him because I don't want any trouble with the IRS. I want to keep a friendly relationship with them. And I thought I would go there 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and I thought that they would really respond quickly and promptly, that they would want to make sure that this was handled. And I got there, and it was really kind of a nonchalant response. The first thing, they wanted to kind of say that I had not given them the right information. I was like, no. And then they said, well, we'll take your number and we'll call you back. So I thought I would hear from them by end of business day on Tuesday. I thought if in my business life, that's the way I would have handled that, just to give the person an update. So I didn't hear back from them Tuesday, not on Wednesday. By Thursday, I was like, I've got to get in touch with them. And I was still hoping they were going to call me. But by Thursday afternoon, they hadn't. So I realized it was getting late. So I pulled off the road. I called them at 4:45. I got the message that they close the office at 4:30, and they take Fridays off during the summer. Well, let me tell you, I quickly had hatched up a whole little speech I was going to give them about prompt responses to business, the sanctity of contracts, the efficiency of the American free enterprise system. I mean, I was going to let them have it. But here's the thing. Is that going to do me any good? Is that going to do me any good? I have the choice. Do I focus on the good Miss Betty is bringing into my life, or do I want to focus on the frustration of my friends at the IRS? Now, creating that little speech to give my CPA, boy, that has a lot of energy to it. You know, that's kind of like scratching an itch you get from a poison ivy. It feels good for the moment. It's only going to inflame the problem. It's only going to make the problem worse. So this teaching has given me the wisdom to know that I have to put my energy into that's going to come back to me multiplied for something that I want. The love and the givingness and the willingness to help the world that Miss Betty represented. That's what I want to do, because that's what's going to pay off for me. That's what's going to make my life better. Dr. Holmes says, take your problems and place them in the high place of consciousness. And he says, they will disappear as the answers take their place. He says, this is the way problems are solved. We should know that there is nothing that can keep this from happening if we will get out of our own way and give up any kind of thought of lack or limitation. We should know that the answer is established in consciousness, and it will show up in our mind if we stop arguing for our own problems. That's what a lot of us, when we want to think about it, when we want to keep the speech going, when we want to, talk about it, what we're doing is we're arguing against our own good. We're giving energy into the problem. But if we will keep our eyes lifted up to the solution, and even if we say to ourselves, well, I don't have an answer for it, but God does. I might not have an answer for it, but Spirit does. I don't have an answer for all the stuff I see going on in our world and our nation right now, but Spirit does. I look out and I see so much turmoil in our nation. I see a lot of the problems that we're still going on with this COVID situation. I see some not so smart behavior going on. I don't have an answer to all of that, but Spirit does. And if I will hold on to that hope and that faith that Spirit is going to provide something good for us, something wonderful for us, something joyful for us, I know a new day is dawning. A new day is dawning for each of us, for this center here, for our community, for our nation and the world. See, love is powerful, and love is not finished with us yet. Spirit has a better idea for us, and I know a new day is breaking through this dark night. It has been a dark night, but don't you lose faith. Don't you get discouraged. Don't you get muddled down by all the turmoil you see around you. It's nothing but a old night, and it's disappearing with the breaking dawn of God's possibility, a breaking dawn of more joy, more prosperity, more health. You hang on. There's coming a wonderful and bright new day where we're going to link hands in brotherhood and sisterhood, and we're going to know who we are and whose we are. And on that wonderful bright day, it's going to be a glorious new heaven and new earth. It's what you've come to do. Spirit called you by name so you could be here this morning, this time, and this lifetime to bring about a glorious, wonderful, and joyful life made manifest through your hopes and dreams. You can do it. Spirit has faith in you. I know it's true for you. It's true for all of us. This is the truth in my life this morning. It's the truth in yours, and so it is.
It's something you said. It's something that you said in your talk. It went something like this. Running around fixing this and that, giving it up to God and then taking it back. Just release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it no more. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out the way and let God do his thing. You look like the weight of the world's on your back. Just take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. All that drama ain't good for you. You couldn't change a thing if you knew what to do. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out the way and let God do its thing. The sun is gonna shine and the river's gonna flow. The tide's gonna rise without your say-so. The universe is working and the good is flowing. You don't plant a seed, then dig it up and see if it's growing. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out the way and let God do his thing. I want you to repeat after me right here. Get out of the way. 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 Get out the way and let God. You better let God, you better let God do its thing. Hey, 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 hey. Let God get on out the way. Let God do his thing.
Yes, indeed. Get out of the way and let God come into your life. And what could God come into your life for? More love, more joy, more happiness, more prosperity, more health, more friendship, more laughter. Those are the only things that God knows. God doesn't know about aches and pains. God doesn't know about lack and limitation. How could it? It's God. He created all of this. So you're here to experience the goodness of life. Now, one way we do that is we do by sharing. You know, we no longer pass the plate because we want to kind of step into a new way of handling things. So we just have our box up there now, and we need your support. This center is growing and thriving, and we need your support to do it. Now, I have some people came to me when I was telling the different people about we're making the contributions to the Betty Griffin. They said, why are we doing this in a time when we're running, you know, we're not, well, we used to have 150 people in here. Why are we making those donations when we don't have the attendance that we used to? And my thought is we have to continue doing that stuff, because if we don't, we won't be the community God has called us to be.
Amen.
We have to do it. If we keep putting it out there, then Spirit's you cannot one-up Spirit. If we keep putting it out there, we keep keeping the high watch for ourselves. If we keep the high watch for our community and our loved ones and those who may not be at our level, Spirit is going to show up and support us. There's no way that it cannot. So here today, if you're supporting us in coin, wonderful, thank you, we need it. If you're supporting us in consciousness, in prayer, praying and seeing our community thrive, seeing our music program. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have 25 singers back there with Eddie singing along? Seeing our kids program, and seeing the wonderful donations we're doing for Reverend Elizabeth and helping people out striving to do better, and also for the Venus Manley Scholarship Program. So everything you give is a wonderful blessing, and it's going to return back to you. So if you're giving in consciousness, put your hand over your heart. If you're giving in coin, put your gift and your hand over your heart. And this is our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Sing with me, y'all.
I am so blessed.
Oh, you sound so good. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, Eddie. So we're going to close our service with an affirmative prayer. I'm going to do it in the first person, but take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, well, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me this morning. I am so blessed. I am so blessed with love and health and prosperity and joy and friendship. I am so blessed that it's natural for me to be a blessing just by being myself. So here now in this sacred place filled with all these wonderful, loving souls, I now accept the truth about myself, that I am a conduit for the love of God flowing in my life, that I'm here to experience every great good. I am here to have wonderful love, great friendship, fun and laughter, dance and adventure. I'm here to have an overflowing a bank account. I am here to be a healing. So this morning, I'm making the decision to get out of God's way. I'm making the decision to get out of God's way with my old thoughts of lack and limitation, of woundedness, of less than. I've played with those small ideas long enough. Here this morning, I'm stepping up into my full spiritual maturity. Here this morning, I'm choosing to see myself as God sees me, not as weak and wounded, but bold, courageous, moving out in the world and making a difference for my being here. I am making the world a better place because I am knowing who I am and whose I am. I am the beloved of creation. I have come to life to experience all the great good that God had in mind when it called me by name from stardust, and nothing, no man, no situation is holding me back. Spirit and I are on the move, and Jerusalem is in our sights. This is my truth. I hold this high. Every cell of my being radiates this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and bold, dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, dear ones, I want to leave you with one last thought, one last thing to think about. Your life. It's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, and to make your life that miracle that God has called you to be. This is your truth. And now go out and know that Spirit is with you. So it is. Have a wonderful week, everyone. I love you all. I'll see you next Sunday.
If you're able to stand, I'd like to ask you to stand for this closing song. And if you know the words, please sing along. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with our family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. God bless. Namaste. Okay.